A great example of that are a counter unmanned aerial system strategy. When we started first dealing with enemy unmanned aerial systems, the gut instinct was, well, that's an air defense problem. That's an air defense problem because they're in the air. And in fact, we have a very close ally of ours that was dealing with a adversary that was using the small quadcopter UASs, and they shut it down with a Patriot missile. Now, that worked. They got it, okay? And we love Patriot missiles, and I know there's folks out there that build them and sell them, and they're great. They're a high-demand, low-density item. The problem is that on the kinetic exchange ratio, the Patriot won, okay? That quadcopter that cost $200 from Amazon.com did not stand a chance against the Patriot. So on the kinetic exchange ratio, they won. On the economic exchange ratio, I'm not sure that's a good economic exchange ratio. In fact, if I'm the enemy, I'm thinking, hey, I'm just going to get on eBay and buy as many of these $300 quadcopters as I can and expend all the Patriot missiles out there. So what we've done is look at it and say, no, this is a commander's problem. This is not an air defense problem. This is a commander's problem. We defined it from the very beginning. And now we're looking at, hey, there's ways to get after this with electronic warfare, with cyber. There's all kinds of different ways that we can get to this. A SEMA approach. There well may be part of that, a kinetic approach from air defenders or other things like that. But define it very differently from the beginning versus just hand off to Fort Sill and say, have at it, get after this piece. And therefore, and then we start taking a look at the other services. So how are you dealing with this? Okay, how are you dealing with it in your domain? Because everyone is being impacted by this.
Drones all over the world are trying to be regulated by authorities, but the Dutch National Police have found a unique way to take the flying device down. They have trained eagles to take down drones. The Dutch police partnered with a Raptor training company who trained them to capture drones in the same way that the bird reacts to prey. After grabbing the drone, the eagles find a safe area to land with the device.
We use all kinds of technological solutions, like electromagnetic pulses or even laser technology. And one of the projects is the use of a bird of prey. So we tried to work together with a company who can train those birds for us. They have done that over the last several months, and we found out that it is probably one of the most effective countermeasures against hostile drones.
Unmanned drone that crashed on the White House grounds early Monday morning. The man operating the drone told investigators he had been drinking before the incident. The AP reports the man works for a U.S. intelligence agency, which says his work has nothing to do with drones. And the Washington Post reports the episode came just 4 days after lawmakers examining White House security had been warned by a panel of experts that the Secret Service's inability to identify and disable drones remained one of the leading vulnerabilities at the complex. President Obama talked about drones earlier today.
I've actually asked the FAA and a number of agencies to examine how are we managing this new technology, because the drone that landed in the White House you buy in Radio Shack, but we don't really have any kind of regulatory structure at all for it.
Now there's talk of installing some kind of laser protection or anti-drone system at the White House. Congressman Elijah Cummings said, quote, "Just like our friends in Israel feel comfortable with that Iron Dome, I want the people in the White House to feel comfortable too. And I want the people who are trying to do us harm to know they cannot penetrate that sky over the White House."